Creators, do you feel like your undeserving competition is beating you? It can feel defeating when somebody is getting better results than you are, when you feel as though you are working harder than they are. And then you compare yourself to them on social media or whatever. You can see that they are getting better results. They are getting the thing. They are getting the DJ gig. They're getting the film gig, the acting gig, whatever it is. And you are not, but you are working harder than them. It can feel so defeating, makes you want to give up. I've been there, trust me. I'm going to dive into why maybe your mindset is a little bit wrong about this, what you can do about it, and a couple of other cheeky tricks as well. So first things first, and this might be the hardest thing to hear, is that the ultimate goal of creativity is to create without expectation for what the outcome will be. And it's really, really, really hard because there's so many factors that come into play. You could be creating because you need to express yourself because you've never been understood. Maybe there is some underlying trauma that you haven't actually dived deep enough into to understand why you're actually taking the actions that you need to take. You know, you could have a chip on your shoulder and there's like ego driving what you're doing so that you can show them, so everyone will finally see and understand you for who you are. And this is a huge, deep trap that there's a lot of self-work that you need to do if you actually want to uncover the true reason why you are creating. But if you can get through all of this stuff, we're getting straight into it here, no mucking around, you will find that the real reason you are creating is because you enjoy creating in the present moment that you are creating. And there actually is no expectations for any outcome beyond that, right? And the most powerful portion of that is that that is actually where you thrive the most. That's where you get the most results, right? When you are creating and you are lost in that moment, you are totally present. That's when you're creating your best work. And when you're pushing through the resistance as well, because it feels easy, because you're doing it with purpose, because the reason you're doing it is because you want to do it in that moment. And that's all that matters. And everything else is a sprinkle on top. And this might sound like it's coming from someone who does have a chip on their shoulder, but actually I've seen various amounts of success in film, my video business. I've played in 5 countries around the world as a DJ, as an electronic music producer, toured the east coast of Australia, played the festival circuit for over 10 years. And I've been through all of this stuff that I said at the beginning where I'm like, why does that person get gigs that I don't? That person doesn't deserve it. I've released 2 albums and 50 singles in the last few years, and that person's never even opened, a music digital audio workstation. Why are they doing that? And no doubt you've had your version of this. And social media sucks you in deeper as well. And when you dive in the social media thing, you immediately compare yourself to other people. And let me tell you, that just kills you. So unfollow everybody that you don't need to be following, because that will definitely amplify this, right? But if you can really focus on the fact that the reason you create is because you like creating in the moment, and that's all that matters. And that's not to say don't have goals, right? You can have goals, and then you can have KPIs and work on those KPIs so you can actually hit those goals, right? But ultimately, you need to be doing it for this base reason, because you are a creator and you create, right? You're not a creator because you need somebody to perceive you in a particular way so that then you can perceive yourself in a particular way. That's trauma, okay? And if you're doing it for those reasons, you may win, okay? And there's a lot of people out there that are winning because of that alone. But when you get there, even when you get there, again, this is a destination, a false expectation that you're putting on yourself. It will not feel fulfilling, trust me, right? And it will not be good enough. You will want more. And you will need the next person to perceive you in a particular way, right? Because you need to show the world that you are this thing, right? Most artists, they're misunderstood. You're probably misunderstood. And I understand, and I have empathy to that, because I'm that guy too, right? But chances are there are a lot of people out there that are succeeding more than you are, and they're not grinding as hard as you are, right? They are not doing the authentic, the real actions that actually should get you to a particular place, such as the actual creating, They're not doing that work. Some people are going harder on social media. Some people are going harder on connection-based activities. Networking is the word. And this is somewhere where perhaps you need to zoom out and realize, okay, cool. You've got the foundation. You're doing it because you want to do it, right? The next step is, okay, you've got a goal. You actually want to get to this particular point. You want to play at this particular festival. You want to shoot this particular kind of film or client, okay, whatever it is. And what actions are you not actually doing properly? Because I guarantee you your mind is tunneling down this one road being like, I just need to do this action all the time and authenticity will win. Unfortunately, that's not how it works in reality. And I wish I saw this video 10, 15 years ago to just slap me over the face and say, hey, bud, you need to actually take a bit more of an overview, zoom out a little bit and say, yeah, that work, extremely important. Doing the actual thing, extremely important. And that's the foundation of everything, right? If you don't have that, you are just faking it. And they say fake it till you make it. Maybe there's an element of that. But that comes in these other portions of things. Are you doing the right activities to actually get you those results? And what are they? Okay? And that involves networking. And I was never, ever a good networker. To this day, don't like networking. Don't really like talking to people. Don't really like, putting my nose up there, you know? I'm sure you don't either. But there's a way to go about it which is authentic, which is in line with your values. And you just have to figure out what that is, okay? The other portion of that is marketing. Are you marketing yourself correctly to get the right results? And just putting posts out there is one thing, but are you actually being like, cool, what's my strategy? Why will that strategy work? How long will I try that for until I realize maybe that doesn't work? And then when will I pivot on that strategy to make that work? Do I actually have a strategy that I'm thinking about? Or am I just posting when I get a gig, when I get a client, when I post a song, whatever it is, right? And if you can zoom out, take these three things into consideration. Be like, cool, maybe I'm not actually going about it in the exact right way that my mind thinks it is. Because it'll trick you to be like, no, I'm right about everything. That's what it does, okay? That's the creative philosophy portion of this channel. It's like you're a creator, but guess what? You're deeply entwined in your ego. And it's going to help you get where you want to go. But you also need to tame it. Okay? And that involves self-reflection. So again, you've got this foundation. You're doing it for the right reasons. And then you have this goal. And then you have a real strategy for authentically networking. And then you have a real strategy for marketing that is in line with your values. You're doing all these things alongside each other. And when they don't work, after a period of time, that's when you're going to pivot, okay? And the other thing is, and there's a book called The Third Door, I forgot the name of the author right now, but this has been deeply impactful on my journey, is that there's three ways to get anywhere, right? The first way is the normal way. You work your way up, right? Say it's a job. You work your way up in the industry, you get a degree, blah, blah, blah. The second way is you know somebody. So that's the networking piece, right? You actually get in through the second door. The third door is there's always another way, okay? And so if you can really have a think about that concept, what is the third door in your scenario? And that could be collaborating, for example, with the person that is actually ahead of you, making you feel bad, that you're not where you want to be. And that's something. So this undeserving competition, which you perceive as your enemy, which you perceive as a threat, which you perceive as annoying, maybe that person is the person that you actually collaborate with. Maybe you get in with them, and I've done this myself a couple of times, and provide them as much value as you possibly can, and then they will help you network to the next step, okay? I'm a videographer, right? I've filmed so many gigs for free when I should have been charging $500, $1,000. Probably would have another $100K in my bank account for how much work that I've done for the local industry in my niche of music. But I haven't charged at all because that's just providing value to the people that run gigs. And I like to do that because I like to provide value to my scene, but also the amount of value that's come back to me because of that is tenfold. So I get to do something that I love, which also provides value to people, takes me relatively minimal effort, and then value comes back to me in return, right? So yeah, one of the third doors is collaborate with that person that you actually hate. And that's a really good way to actually overcome that ego portion of yourself that's like, stuff that person, they didn't deserve that. Maybe they do deserve that, but deserve isn't really a word that you should use when it comes to art and things like this at all. There's no such thing. Nobody owes anybody anything. But there's only strategy. And you can use that strategy to get what you want. And maybe that's a way to challenge your own ego to actually get the thing that you want. So hopefully you've enjoyed this rant. If you want to check out some of my LUTs or some of my frameworks, feel free to click the link below. Enjoy.